Welcome to Post. I am your host, The Rob from 106.1 KISS FM, 106.1 evansville.com, here with my co-host, broadcasting live from Viperville, Pennsylvania. Good morning, Mr. Jerry Valeri.
I can't wait until after Sunday when we can move away from Viperville. I'm ready.
Do you think it'll be done by Sunday? I'm not sure it's something that's going away anytime soon.
Viperville is going to last forever, but once Viperville meets Suplex City, we can stop talking about it so much.
We will see. I still have yet to make my mind up. I've kind of, I guess, just like been keeping those things out of my mind right now until I look at the card from our prediction episode on Thursday.
Right. Let's not look at predictions. Let's just look at what Raw had for us last night, and there were some surprises.
Hey, before we get to Raw, I wanted to mention one story I saw on the web real quick.
Okay.
And made me happy. I saw that the WWE now has Shawn Michaels as a full-time employee once again with the company. He's being used as a full-time trainer for the guys in NXT.
Oh, that's great. Will he book? You think he'll book at all or just train?
I doubt he'll be booking, which is probably fine. I don't know that Shawn would really want to book or he would be any good at it, but he's doing exactly what I want him to be doing. He'd be training the kids.
That's awesome. It only means good things for NXT.
Yeah, I agree. Not that William Regal is bad, but having someone like Shawn Michaels there, who I have as one of the top 3 wrestlers to have ever lived, training the kids. I mean, it's a big deal. He's relocating his whole family to Florida from Texas. Wow,
that's awesome. Well, there's plenty of hunting to do in Florida too, so it'll be good.
Exactly. So I wanted to mention that real quick because Raw, I know we've got a lot to talk about. I've got more notes than I realized I took last night during Raw. The show started with a pre-recorded tape promo from Seth Rollins. And the only note I took from that particular promo, I don't know if you're having this issue or if it's just me. Every time he says Demon King, I'm not sure if he's saying it weird or if I'm just listening for it, but I hear in my head Demon Kane.
I thought he said Demon Kane as well, and here's how I can tell you I thought he said Demon Kane. Because the minute it left his mouth, I was like, oh, God. Seriously? Like, we're going to start Raw with Kane? And then I was like, oh, Demon King. Did they call Finn Balor Demon King in NXT? I thought he was just the demon when he'd show up.
That's a good question. I'm not the hardcore NXT guy.
But
I thought
they sure hammered Demon King last night, man. They said if they said it once, they said it 500 times.
And you know what's so funny is Kane did not become the Demon Kane until like a year and a half ago. And then he was Demon Kane down our throats because it was him as opposed to corporate Kane.
Right.
And now I feel like it's done them a disservice because now every time I hear Demon King, you're right. My gut instinct is to be like, oh, geez, Demon Kane. But I'm actually excited because it's Finn Balor.
Right. Because Demon King in a ladder match makes me happy. Demon Kane in a ladder match ruins a pay-per-view.
Very good point. So I'm glad that you noticed that as well, and it wasn't just me. My second note of the show was actually during the Sheamus-Sami Zayn match. My note being, oh yeah, Sami Zayn still exists.
And yeah, Sheamus is on Raw.
Well, Sheamus, I feel like, has been kind of visible, and I have more thoughts about him here in a second. Sami Zayn has been invisible.
They gave Sami Zayn a quality win that he needed against Kevin Owens. Mm-hmm. And then they just pooped. They just pooped. They do that all the time, though. It's like, it's not a surprising thing. They've done it with Cesaro. They did it with Neville to a degree, and I'm sure they're going to do it again with him. It's like they take 2 steps forward with a particular superstar, and when it comes to developing them, and then they take 3 steps back.
So whenever we do the SmackDown reviews, I try to talk about how I think that Bray Wyatt and Dolph Ziggler have been beneficiaries of this draft. Right. I think a true victim has been Sami Zayn, who really came off the biggest win of his career, maybe, at least as far as high-profile wins go, at, what was it, Extreme Rules? What was the last pay-per-view? Battleground.
Yeah, Battleground.
And he then just was invisible. So in some ways, that win kind of meant nothing.
They needed to split Ian Owens, and now I'm watching it, and I realize they needed to put Sami Zayn on SmackDown.
Boy, for some reason, I thought I actually thought Sammy was drafted to a different show than Kevin Owens was. Well, I guess I must have been not paying attention.
No, they drafted Sammy before Owens, which really, like, Owens got mad and it was blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, that's a seed, though, I thought, for a solid angle, I guess, but I guess no.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. It's just Sami Zayn is going to be buried on Raw like a lot of the mid-card guys.
I mean, he can always come up, I guess. I mean, I'm not going to write him off, but yeah, I'm surprised they haven't done anything with him since the draft. So he had that huge win and then nothing. So that's what I had about that match. After that, there was a promo from Jericho, which I thought was a real highlight of the show.
I love them. I
do too. They're totally hitting with me.
This probably jumps ahead a little further than you'd like, but I am more excited for Jericho and Enzo and Cass than I am for the tag title match at SummerSlam. This match has the kind of heat and build that you want to see in a tag feud, where the New Day and, Gallows and Anderson, it's like, I don't care about that match as much. So it's interesting that the one without the belts is the one that I care about. Yeah,
I thought the line of the night, by the way, I agree with you. I'm far more excited for Jericho and Enzo and Cass than I am for the title match.
I love the name Jericho, by the way.
Agreed. I don't know who came up with that one. It wouldn't surprise me if it was Jericho himself. But
I actually, while I don't love all the teams, I love the name mashing these days. Golden Truth, Breeze Dango, Jericho. I say keep it coming.
See, Jericho, he came up with, I believe it was Jericho, came up with Jericho a few years ago. So it wouldn't surprise me if that's something that he did. But he had the line of the night, in my opinion. I loved when Jericho was talking about Enzo, referenced the certified G, and then asked in all seriousness, who certified him? That was brilliant. I mean, that was a brilliant line. Who was he certified through? I mean, really, when you think about it, how did he become a certified G?
Where did you get your certification, sir?
Exactly. So I thought that was a brilliant line that a lot of people may not have picked up on. Also, something I'm not sure everyone picked up on. They were with some sort of green interviewer back there. I can't even tell you the guy's name, to be honest with you. And Jericho kept switching the guy's name. Did you notice that?
Yeah, well, he does that to Tom Phillips all the time, where he calls him Todd or Tim or Jim or John.
Okay, yeah. So you did notice it then?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Is that the guy you're talking about, Tom Phillips?
Probably. I don't know the guy's name, to be honest with you.
Fun fact, he's a Penn Stater too.
No kidding.
Yeah, he is.
Jerry and I both Penn State alumni. That's where Jerry and I met. We met at a radio station right outside of right in State College, Pennsylvania.
State College, Pennsylvania, otherwise known as Viperville. Exactly. Till SummerSlam.
Every city in Pennsylvania, I believe, is Viperville.
Yes, it is.
So, okay, let's talk about this. Well, okay, so I want to go back to Sheamus for a second. I'm just going in the order of the show. There was a pull apart in the back involving Sheamus and Cesaro. And they did find a way with just 3 simple words to make me interested in a Sheamus angle. Best of 7. I think that's cool.
That's cool. No, they won't do all 7 at SummerSlam, I assume.
No, it starts at SummerSlam, and then I'm assuming we're going to have a match every week or so until the next Raw pay-per-view.
That's one way to get 2 dudes in a ring and make them fight 7 times and make it interesting.
Yeah, because this is not overplayed. It's happened before. You can do a best of series, but it's rare enough that I would not have cared about this. If it just would have happened 7 consecutive times, I would say it was bad. When you put it into the context of best of 7, now I think it's great. Agree?
It's all about packaging. That's how it is in radio too. It's you could talk about a story, or you could dress it up and present it in a better way that makes it more interesting. It's the same thing with creative and booking a match like that. And they had to have realized, like, if we have Cesaro and Sheamus fight a bunch, that'll suck. So let's make it better. And that's how they're going to do it. Well,
and I think it's, them making lemonade out of a limited roster, which it kind of is. Raw's roster isn't too thin, but, you can't have, it'd be tough to have 7 different opponents for Sheamus every week. Right. So, do it like this. I say 2 thumbs up. I think that's a good move.
I agree.
All right, great. My next note, it has to do with the club. And I think that Well, they're doing great work, mind you. Ring postitis is a great gimmick for the club. Thoughts?
I agree. I like what the club's doing, and I love New Day. And I can't explain why I'm not interested in this feud right now.
Oh, I am. They made me interested. For some reason, that visual with the eggs in the jars, while I don't even understand it totally, I know that they microwaved the egg and stuff. I know they're trying to look like doctors and scientists.
And they're coming out and experimental and stuff. And I love that they squashed Golden Truth. I mean, they look strong.
Yeah,
they look strong. New Day looks strong. I'm not going to get into my prediction, but I could lock in today if I wanted.
You don't have to. I mean, we'll fresh everyone with our predictions if you're ready to. My only thing with your lock-ins are have you stuck with a lock-in?
I've stuck. I'm pretty sure I stuck one. Well, I don't know. I mean, not this time.
Okay. What's your prediction? Lock in on Thursday.
You want me to lock in right now?
I want you to make your what we'll call it a prediction, and then it's totally locked. You can change it up until Thursday.
Okay. My prediction,
if you want to share.
My prediction is New Day is going to retain the titles.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think
New Day is going to retain the titles. But I think I could predict the whole show today if I wanted to, but I'm not going to.
I'm not ready to do that.
They are so close. They'll be like 360 days from having it for a whole year. Like, they're not going to take it away before a year expires. It's not going to. I
think you're probably right. Now, I want to tell you why this has been beneficial for the club, because if I'm not mistaken, and I'm not sure if we've talked about this on the air or off the air only, but you've been kind of cold on the club, and now you're not.
Right. Well, I thought that they were just level bosses for AJ Styles. They weren't anything but goons, and they were getting treated as goons, and now they are like a legitimate aggressive threat, and that's what you needed to see.
Yeah, I agree. It's so even if the club loses at SummerSlam, that's why they're still winners.
Yeah, they're coming out of the feud better than when they entered it.
And I think if they keep picking people off with this ring postitis thing, it doesn't need to just be on with them wherever their next angle is. I feel like it's a good gimmick for them.
It is. I don't want it to become stink face, but sure. Everyone gets it, but I do like it.
Okay, so we need to shout out female jobber, Ms. Rachel Levy.
Total squash. But
she had some. Did she not have the doughy-eyed female jobber optimism?
Right. She looked like I have a shot. Why not me? I can handle it.
Hold on.
And then
she had a quote I sent to my buddy John. Because whenever there's a jobber, we like to mention it to each other. So the quote of hers, this is a direct quote from Rachel Levi, quote, "I can do anything I set my mind to." I mean, is that not the female jobber you want in the ring?
That is exactly what I want to see. And then I want to see that optimism crushed in front of me and just destroyed. I want to see it obliterated. I want to see her broken dream on my television.
Yes, and that happened.
It happened. I don't know. Am I annoyed yet? Am I annoyed that they're only giving jobbers to Nia Jax and Braun Strowman? Maybe, but I still like the jobbers.
I agree. I'm pacified right now. I do want to see them move on to. I want them to still be there. There was Strowman anywhere last night?
He had a quick little. There was a little Braun Strowman packet.
Okay. Yeah, he hasn't. I don't think there's been a male jobber for the past 2 weeks.
I think there was one last week.
Oh yeah, there was a Jamel or Jamal or something like that. It was Jarrell someone did the job for Strowman. You're right. Thank you, Jerry. All right, my next note that I have here. Oh yes, I detest every time they use the term 15 years in the making, because you are lying to us. This is a feud 15 days in the making, not 15 years in the making.
They should just say, like, this is a couple of guys that have known each other a bunch. Like,
yeah, okay.
They knew each other 15 years ago. That's true. Also true. They entered the WWE together 15 years ago. They had a feud 15 years ago? False. No, right. They've had a rivalry for 15 years? False. They've given a crap about one another? for 15 years, it's false. It's all false. They've gone
Correct.
two totally different paths, and now they all of a sudden needed to bring them together, and they said, well, they've been, the bad blood they have.
Oh, yes. Well, you guys have been frothing at the mouth for this one for 15 years, and we're finally going to give it to you. No, we haven't been.
No, I'm frothing at the mouth for another Randy Orton shoulder injury. I'd like another 8 months without it.
People are giving him a hard time. I feel like I kind of like him.
Boring.
All right. Let's keep moving forward here. Okay. This is one I'm curious as to. I bet most people are going to disagree with me here, but this is the way I feel. For the first time in forever, and I'm probably alone on this, but for the first time in forever, I actually appreciate Heath Slater.
I thought I was going to be alone. Rob, I thought I was going to be alone. I loved him there. Like, normally, what WrestleMania was it that I couldn't get over it? I was so angry. Like, they had like Rowdy Piper and Hulk Hogan and Stone Cold, and they're all in the ring, and there's this epic moment happening, and then Carlito shows up. And I was so mad at Carlito. I was like, look at Carlito with his stupid apple ruining WrestleMania.
21.
You ruined WrestleMania, sir. You ruined it. And then Heath Slater kind of does that with Brock Lesnar. He has no business being out there. But the way they've written his angle, he's desperate. He wants to get on a roster. He's going to do anything he can. He's a family guy. He has kids, damn it. And he's going to get in the ring and fight Brock Lesnar. And then he gets his ass kicked. And I love him. I think he came out looking better than he ever has.
Well, I think what I like about him is he's kind of being enigmatic. He's got like a sense of humor. He's got kind of some dynamic range to me. He's showing more than just he's being an annoying 1/3 of a bad stable or 1/4 of a bad stable on his own. I like how, he's lying about his kids. I like how he's lying about his pool on SmackDown. I kind of find him to be funny. He's charming.
I loved how Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar basically say, get out of here, recrop on us. Mm-hmm. And he starts cutting the promo again. And then you just hear Heath Slater, wow! He's standing on the ring apron. Now he's on the ring apron, and he demands to be paid attention to.
Yeah.
And I thought Brock grabbing the mic was powerful, and then Heath gets his butt kicked, but he doesn't look like a sissy. He doesn't look like a coward. He doesn't back down. And
right, he's got 7 kids to take care of.
He's on both shows. Yeah, right now, I mean, that's the biggest trick is he's on both shows.
Yeah, Dean Ambrose isn't even on both shows.
I know. He's on both shows. I think I'm liking Heath Slater, and I'm betting you, Rob, this is going to get him over. I think this is going to get him over. If they get him in, they can't do this forever. That'll get old.
Right.
They've got to get him in with a direction and give him some teeth and let him win some matches, and I think he could get over.
Yeah, well, I feel like it's definitely a gimmick for him, and it's working so far. And I'm chalking him up as a beneficiary of the draft, not a casualty. Until
he ends up on Raw, and then he's dead.
Or whatever. Or even if he just winds up being an enhancement talent on Raw, he's in a better spot now than he was a month ago.
Exactly. Exactly.
So there's that. Speaking of casualties and beneficiaries, I feel like, and tell me if you agree with me. Oh, hold on. I'll go with this. I'll stick with my train of thought. The primetime players reuniting is actually a step backwards for Darren Young and a step forward for Titus O'Neil.
Yeah, I think Darren Young is, because of the Backlund stuff, is more relevant.
Right.
That said, you had 4 turds in the ring at one time. I don't care about that match.
Agreed.
I don't
care. It was a bad move.
I just fast forwarded it. Gone.
Well, here's the thing. When you had last week, when they were not together, if you would have those 4 guys in the ring together, you'd have 1 guy I cared about and 3 guys I didn't. Now you have 4 guys I don't care about.
Don't care about.
Right.
I don't even know the logic behind him teaming up with Titus. I thought they were fighting with each other.
And I can't keep making the same note about the Shining Stars. They're not happening. Stop trying to make them happen. It's like
stop putting them down my throat. I hate them. Puerto Rico is not that great a place. I've been there. It's a dump.
I'll have to take your word for it.
It's a dump. It's a dump. They're like 3 nice places, and then the rest of it, you're going to die in an alley. It's an awful. It's not. Sorry.
It's okay. Hey, listen, I hear you. And I mean, listen. What was the Bruiser Brody. I believe he passed in Puerto Rico. He was murdered tragically and horrifically in a shower.
It's not a state for a reason, Puerto Rico. We could easily make you a state, and we don't want to.
Okay, let's regroup. Let's talk about. I like the positioning of Enzo and Cass in the middle of the show, as opposed to the very beginning where they have been lately. It's a stupid thing. It's barely a thought, but it was a thought that I had.
Yeah, and the note that I made, if we're going to talk about that, I agree with you. I just like mixing everybody around. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and Raw's been doing a good job of that for the most part. You don't know where you're going to see the girls. You don't know where you're going to see Enzo and Cass.
I'll tell you what I didn't like. I love the Enzo and Cass promos, and I love all of that. And then when you have Cass fight Kevin Owens, I don't like that almost the whole match was during commercials. The majority of the actual fighting was during commercials. It was just a storyline match, and that's okay, but it's annoying.
I guess I didn't even think about that. I have two more notes. The next one obviously has to do with the Demon King, not the Demon Kane, the Demon King. His entrance is so good, but and please don't hate me for this. They should have saved that for Sunday.
There are two things they needed to save for Sunday. We'll start with this one. So,
yes, right.
There are two things. Like, I don't know why they gave us SummerSlam before SummerSlam. So save Demon King. That entrance was epic. That would have been a show stealer.
Yeah.
At SummerSlam with the words written all over them. And I mean, it was just unbelievable. They needed to have Finn Balor come out one more time as Finn Balor.
Yeah, I really agree with you.
That's it. I agree. It was cool. I'm glad I got to see it.
And I will say this, it did make me more excited for their match on Sunday. That much is true, but you should have saved it for Sunday, or if you're going to top yourself big time, but that's not possible.
Right.
And
you should have saved it. Now, can we go to the last note I know you have?
Yeah.
I feel like we agree on this.
Yeah, we haven't even. This one we actually have not talked about at all. Any of the show. We both said that all we know is that we both had thoughts and that we were interested in the show last night. We were full of thoughts.
So Roman Reigns puts on my favorite Roman Reigns match I've watched in I don't know how long, and Rusev puts on the best match I think I've seen Rusev in for a very long time, and they did it 5 days before they're supposed to do it again at SummerSlam, and they gave him 30 minutes.
What the F? What?
They gave them 30 minutes. They gave them a SummerSlam U.S. title match.
Now, look, Jerry, you're missing the point. I'm the chairman. This match was for Lana's honor. The match on Sunday is for the belt.
Right, which is why I now know what's going to happen with the belt.
Aren't you glad you didn't lock in?
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't lock in on Roman Reigns.
Right. So we'll talk about that more on Thursday. Is there anything more you want to? So we agree that what a weird. Why? Just why?
It's so hard to please us, and I understand that because the stuff that sucked, we say it sucked, and the stuff that was great, we're like it was great, but why did you give it to us so soon?
We've been very easy to please. I mean, if you go through the podcasts we've done together, we've been very complimentary of both shows, especially when they've been deserving.
Right. It's just, you shouldn't have given me like a 5-star Roman Reigns match. Now, listen, a 5-star Roman Reigns Rusev match is not to be confused with a 5-star match. That's like me saying, there's a girl in Altoona, Pennsylvania, and she is an Altoona 10. That is an anywhere else 3.
I know her. I
dated her and her sister. Okay.
Okay, so we agree. Yeah, so it is a weird thing to say. We love this. Don't give it to us.
Don't give it to us. You stupid idiot.
Okay, so we actually, there was not much we disagreed on the show today, but since we're going a little long here and we have another episode coming up for you on Thursday, why don't we go ahead and wrap things up? Unless there's anything you want to add, Jared, I'm gonna close things out.
No, we're good. I actually have to work at some point today. So
okay.
We're good.
Yeah, me too. Let's go ahead and wrap things up. Thank you so much for being a part of the podcast, Jerry. Things have been sounding great. They've been looking great. It's all thanks to you. Thank you so much. For myself, the Rob, my tag team partner in crime, Mr. Jerry Valeri, have a great day. We'll reconvene on Thursday.
I'm keeping my shirt on today.
Making you wait for it. Gotta earn it. I'll take mine off.
Yeah, get it off. Get it off.